Hello, my friends. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't have the countdown clock on, so we'll be starting in about 3 minutes, okay? So when it gets to about 2, see you shortly. Sorry about that. Howdy, howdy. Happy Saturday, happy weekend. Hope you're all doing well out there. Just as a reminder before we get started, this channel is for educational or entertainment purposes only. And okay, so we have got part 3 coming at you today. We will be having Harold joining us, and it's going to be on a pre-birth memory roundtable. This is the last installment of this specific series with Harold. And some of the things that they'll be going over are how vivid are their memories? Why do some have pre-birth memories and others do not? What is the one thing that they took away from their memories that has impacted their life? The challenges in life. Love those who have done some wrong. Being nauseous is an opportunity. So many things about Earth have not made sense to me. Integration and coming to terms with life on Earth, having 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and some other things as well. So I would like to welcome Harold to the channel. It's great to have you back, brother. How you doing today? Oops. Can you hear me, Harold? I think you're still muted.
Yep, I was muted. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to finishing up this trilogy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. So just the channel that this is from is Love Covered Life Podcast for anyone interested. He's got some other interviews that you may be interested in to conduct your own research with. And I just want to say hello to everybody over here on YouTube, here on Odyssey, Rumble, Twitch. Welcome aboard. And okay, so let's get right into this. And sorry for being a little late today. Kind of normal, though. Okay. Get this up here. There we go.
Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me today. And welcome back for part 3 of my conversation with Christian Sundberg and Arki Muratova about our pre-birth memories. Today, we will be answering the last 3 questions, and we're going to be talking about how vivid our memories are, why some people have memories and others don't, as well as what the one thing is that we took away from our memories that has impacted our lives. Part 1 and part 2 will be linked in the description, as well as information on my guests and where you can find them. Thank you so much for joining us. Here are RK and Christian.
Question number 5, this is from RK. How vivid was your memory? RK, do you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah. So how vivid was my memory? So that's what my partner and my brother, they asked me all the time. Like, how do you know that it's not, simply a dream and, and memory? How I know that? Because as a child, I was going, I think, till the age of 4, I was this unconscious child, just having this, child experience, asking questions, learning about ABC and 1, 2, 3. But then at some point, I became this conscious, and I remembered this memory flashback. Everything came back, and I told my mom, like at the age of 4, where I have never ever seen pregnant women in my life or have experienced like the death and afterlife or the concept of God or angels, anything like that. At the age of 4, I didn't know what it is, but I told my memory to my mom, like how she delivered me in that room, and I saw her giving birth to me, and the feeling she gave me, and the protection she gave me, and the guidance I also received not to forget about it. And I think that's enough evidence, because 4 years old, when she consciously comes up to you and starts speaking like an adult, that's where you know that that's not a dream. Because I started getting flashbacks on that, and as well as the dreams where they would show me what's going to happen to my loved ones, to my grandparents, to my father. Also, I didn't know the concept of death. I've never been told about it at the age of 4, but I had a dream of my grandparents passing away, leaving the earth, but they're going to be fine. My father as well, leaving the earth, but he's going to be fine. So I didn't feel sad while I was telling that to my mom, like, this is what's going to happen. But I wasn't sad. I was like telling her excitingly, because this is the truth. Like, this is what's going to happen. Can you believe it? I remember this. And, that's how I was telling her, like, can you believe it? I just remembered that this is the flashback and this is what's going to happen. But, adults around me, my mom, she was like, oh, you just probably had a dream, the dream. But I was telling them, this is not a dream. There is something that's changed here. I feel that there is something missing. I have to help. I don't know what it is, but there is something missing here. And I'm sure you guys have been feeling that as well. Like,
So what do you think about that, Harold? Do you feel that there's something missing or changing?
I don't really feel that way. I definitely resonate with the fact that she was just kind of like going about her, she's 4 years old, just learning things and just, learning how to count, learning ABCs. And all of a sudden, boom, it's like, wait a second, what is this place? Because I remember this happened. Like, and the main question was like, how vivid was it? She didn't really answer that, but for me, it's like, it's so real that it's the reality and this is the dream. It's like ass backwards. But as far as like something missing, I guess I don't really understand that part. I don't really.
Sure. Yeah, I think where she goes with this is kind of, and she did talk about it in the previous one I think we did, where it's kind of like, oh, like things are changing here. It's kind of like the whole New Earth line of thinking,
Oh,
I think. I'm not 100% sure. We probably should listen a little bit more, but maybe I should have waited to ask. But
no, okay. Yeah, no, I didn't fully grasp where she was going with that, but yeah, I never got that sense like, we're here for a big shift into something. For me, it was more like it was going to be like the destruction of something. I guess that's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's out with the old and with the new.
Yeah, I guess that is the same thing. I was thinking more of the lines of, for me, I guess I have the more doom and gloom idea of what she's trying to explain. Because when I hear them speak, it seems like they're talking about like, oh, it's going to be an awakening. We're going to be free and this and that. For me, it was like something bad. Something bad was going to happen. So,
okay.
As if you are supposed to know something, but you've forgotten about it and you kind of need to remember about it. So you go asking everybody, and I kept as a child asking everybody around me, every adult. So, but no one could give me the answers. And even if they gave me answers, I was sure that this is totally not it. I was also given the purpose behind of that memory. Why did I recall it? Why did I have it? Because during my childhood, I had to have that hope. I had to remember the words they said. Otherwise, I think I wouldn't want to live. I wouldn't want to be here because I didn't feel connected to people. I felt like an outsider. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. But that memory, I was so attached to it, and it felt so good remembering the true love and the peace and enlightenment. So I kept holding on to that.
Yep.
Yeah, you've talked about that quite a bit.
It was a crutch for me my entire life, because of just the trauma and bullshit that I've been through personally, and it was the crutch. It was the thing I always think back like, I forgot. Forget all this stuff that's happening. I know it's gonna happen when I die. Like,
yeah, it's like
I'm gonna go back home.
Your carrot on the stick almost.
Oh,
Give
for
you
sure.
False hope.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was always like the thing, like, oh, I'm gonna be safe and comfy. It's just like it's a major crutch, and it's the very thing that almost made me um accept all the BS that was thrown at me, all the gaslighting and making me, like, okay, I guess I'm going through that because this is just my thing. Like, it's just how it is. It'll get better once it's all over type of mindset. So basically excusing all the BS.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
humanity's professionals at that, regardless of, if it's a pre-birth memory or not. I mean, it's like ingrained in us to explain shit away and make excuses.
absolutely, man. Like the horrible things, it's like even then, because it's like, oh, you know what? This place is just a place of trials and tribulation. And at the end of the day, you're going to go back home and then, you're safe. You're home and you're with people who care about you and blah, blah, blah. It's a major crutch. Huge.
Sure. Yeah, I think one more thing we could kind of say, like, and compare it to, and you talking about trauma aligns with it perfectly, is how we are indoctrinated, through all these systems, including trauma and normalization of things that are not close to normal. And so we compartmentalize all that stuff, sometimes can even have experiences or whatever the case may be, but we kind of shelter ourselves subconsciously from that in an effort to close our eyes from what's really going on. And I think that's why it's so easy to continue to control everybody the way they do, is because they get us when we're young, and it just keeps going and going and going, and everyone's in this certain mindset, and it just keeps being passed down. I know we talk about it a lot, but they know the human condition very, very well and how it works, and they approach all of this stuff the way they do for a reason.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like the harder it is, the more points you get, and that is a very, very clear understanding when you're up there. You just sort of know, like, all right, if I choose this way, if I choose the super, super hard, horrible way, I'm going to get more points, and you're going to be more, you're going to, your soul will be more pure, essentially.
The learning points.
And so I remember, like, yeah. And before, like, even learning about all this, like, that was the thing that kept me going all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm like taking the high horse kind of, or the high road. I'm sorry, not high horse, the high road. Just being humble all the time and like just kind of taking it, because you know what, that at the end of the day, you're the one suffering for a better cause, I guess.
No, that's
the mindset.
Makes sense, man. Makes perfect sense.
And attached to it, so it helped me to go through the life and through challenges, because I think subconsciously, somewhere deep inside, it was giving me that comfort that it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Just be patient. Just wait. It's gonna unfold. It's gonna go. The challenges are gonna pass quick. So I was in this waiting mode, and I knew that wasn't the dream. That was very vivid, but right now, because I'm no longer attached and I'm not looking at challenges like challenges and trying to avoid them, but going through them, and I'm enjoying the moments now, that memory is slowly fading away. Picture-wise, it's fading away. It's not as picture clear as it was in my childhood. I used to like try to draw it, but the feeling-wise, it's still there. Whenever I recall that memory, feeling-wise, it's still there. I have so much love attached to it, but right now I'm not using it as comfort as I used to. And I'm not using that memory as an escape as I used to. But just like the beginning of this character's life.
Did you ever draw anything or paint anything from your experience?
It's interesting that you asked that because I am going to I'm going to do that. I just started teaching myself how to draw like last week.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm going to do it because I want it to be really good. And I'm just not quite there yet. But I was also looking at possible like different AI options, just to have some artwork and maybe making my own like animation through still images or something. I'm thinking about doing something cool to actually have like visuals of exactly what I saw, because I remember it clear as day. I won't miss a single detail. So, but yes, I've been thinking about doing that. I think it would be very cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, you can find some. I think the AI route's a good thing to consider. You never know; it might.
Mm-hmm.
What it can do is incredible. Sometimes
I do it perfectly.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it taps right into your experience.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah,
minor details, and it pulls it up perfectly. You know, oh, what a coincidence.
And then there's also services like Fiverr. You know, you can always look for someone on there.
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit hard on the cash right now, so I don't know if I could afford that. Even though it's Fiverr, they say it's Fiverr, but if you want good stuff, it costs money.
Yeah, even just
we'll talk about it. Yeah. You know who else I was thinking of? If she's ever feeling better, is Conscious Soul. Her art is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's a great. Good. It's really good. Yeah,
I can give her sketches of the actual like angles and stuff that I've seen and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want to do it. I think it'd be so cool.
Sure.
The beginning of our kid's life. And yeah, picture-wise, it's not as vivid. It's slowly fading, as every good memory I have. I don't have the clear picture of it, but I remember it. So I can't deny it. And no matter what people say, and some people would just say, oh, you have a good imagination. And I'm like, okay. And no matter what anyone says, it doesn't cancel my memory, my experience, and the beginning of this character's life. So is it vivid? Not picture perfect vivid, like it's not HD quality, but yeah, feelings are strong around it because it was the first unconditional love.
Did you want to add anything?
Oh, it's just interesting that for her it's like not really vivid, but for me it really is.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know me pretty well now. Like my memory recall is pretty terrible. I don't even know what I did yesterday. Like it's just how I operate. But for some reason, this memory is like I can like I said, paint it. I can draw it. I can explain it moment for moment. And there's like not even a doubt in my mind how real it is, because this place is the fake place. This place is so unreal. So that's why it's so easy to recall for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of the pre-birthers say that. Like it's like NDEers. It's like they remember well, with the exception of the memory wipe pieces that do occur in those things. And obviously with pre-birth even too, because there's still always something missing, but I mean, but you still have like this complete outline that is extremely vivid.
Yeah.
And you just it. It's like you can relive it almost in your head.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very strange feeling. Again, you can't put it into words, but parts are missing though. Like when I hear certain details that people bring up, like these guys, they bring up stuff all the time. Like, oh yeah, I remember that too. Like there are pieces that did leave me. And they're like usually like just small details, but the whole like motion, like beginning to end, is like clear as day.
Oh yeah, there was even a couple of things I remember you mentioning that, like what from obviously your first video that you put out to when we had the interview, and I think even afterwards there was like a couple things that popped up. I don't recall exactly what they were, but there's like little pieces that have come back to you, and these other not just them, but other pre-birth memory experiencers say the same. It's like something will trigger a rapid memory that is like all knowing. They know what happened.
It's jarring. It's jarring. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I was talking to somebody about this today. That it's when you hear like talking to other people that have experienced these things, when you like talk to each other or hear their stories, it's the most jarring like flash. Like it's like in the movies where you see like the flash, like like a flashing image, like boom, like that. It's like a flashback. That's what happens literally, and it's very strong. And it's just no doubt. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Love it.
It's just intense.
I have experienced before the physical form of Archie that I can remember, because I don't remember the rest, what was out there before that.
Thank you. So I guess I'll dive in next, Melissa. So for me, this is really hard to describe, but the pre-birth memory for me is hyper real and totally broad. Like earthly memories are very limited and specific. This memory is very rich and connected to so many other things, and it's like all happening at once. I feel like it's even happening right now, and also simultaneously it feels like it was 20,000 years ago. So I feel like it exists unto itself in a hyper real, like soul level. But what changes for me is whether or not I'm close to it or far from it. It's like that. So the more that I'm focused on the human story and human thoughts and human activities, the further away it feels.
What do you think about that?
I love the way he described that, actually. But I always just described it as the time being an issue. Like the time just doesn't make sense at all. Like here it's linear and there it isn't. So that literally opens doors to a zillion questions, right? Time is just trying to understand that is just we could be here forever trying to like just make things make sense, because it doesn't. Like that awesome show, the Bad Place, The Good Place?
The Good Place, but it is the bad place.
The bad place, right? They call it a Jeffrey, right? And they show you a picture of what the Jeffrey looks like. Is a big squiggly line all over the place. Like, yeah, no, I resonate with that, because if I don't think about it and I'm stuck here and I'm just lost in the sauce, I'm experiencing linear time. And then when I think about my memory, I'm like, holy shit, like time like just warps for me. And then I feel like there's no way I'm 38 years old. There's no way I'm this age right now. Like this, like when I came down here, I knew it was gonna feel long, but it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be very, very quick, almost in a blink of an eye compared to here.
Yeah, and even a lot of experiencers say that too. I mean, just because they cross over, even when I've gone outside my body, those few times or whatever, or even during the heightened meditation OBEs, it just, there's no time. There's really no way to even put it into words when you come back here. And it feels like you're gone for a long time, but then you come back and it's like an hour,
seconds, like fractions of a second is how I perceived it. Really, I really did. I perceived it as being fractions. And you know what that really makes me think too, that's also another, that's definitely another trick if you think about it, because that's how they get you to go. That's another persuading tactic, because you're up there and you're like, you know what, it's just for a little bit, right? And then when you're in it, it's like, we're lost here, we're just deaf, dumb, and blind, literally. I don't care what anybody says,
that's a great point. A really good point, because if especially, just think about like first coming into the system. If you don't have a frame of reference for what the hell time even is, and then if you're continually reincarnating and being memory wiped on top of it, once you do kind of get into the hustle and bustle of the system, it's not going to seem like anything. And then when you get here, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty diabolical if you think about it.
It
Again,
is.
down here, spinning wheel, it feels like forever, but up there it's short. So,
Mhm.
you know, how many Jeffreys have we been doing this for?
I don't know, man.
You know?
Good
It's a
question.
horrible thought if you think about it.
It is. But last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last time.
Like if I go for a couple weeks and I'm just working a lot and I haven't meditated, it's quite distant. And it's not like I meditate on it, but if I practice meditation commonly and let go of the thoughts and dwell fully in the present moment, it's just naturally there. Like I'm naturally much closer to it. And I feel like not a day goes by that I don't think about like the presence of the veil and where I am in relation to it. I just can't help but be aware of it and think of it. But as for the experience, like pre-birth experience and that, you know, that kind of experience, there's no question for me. It's self-evidently real at a level that is like far deeper and more personal, so like so intrinsically personal and holy that it is, you know, it's not up for debate for me. It's just whether or not it's close to me or far away. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I wanted to ask you, if I remember correctly, with Christian's case, a minute. Sorry, the dog was jumping all over me. I thought she was going to bark.
Lucky.
Yeah, yes. And so I think with Christian's story, I don't remember exactly what it is, but in so many words, I don't think he mentions it throughout this interview, but for anyone interested, I'll pop up a link for the commentary I did on his experience, and I'll probably even do a new one because I'd like to do a follow up on it. But anyways, what he says is, you know, he was with, I believe it was a few entities, but if it wasn't the multiple, then it was at least one, and he said that he wanted to get to the state that they were because he revered them so much. Like he looked up to them so much that, you know, basically by coming to Earth, you know, he could work towards achieving that status. Yeah. So it presented, you know, like this ascended master type bullshit narrative to him. And he, you know, looked up to them so much and wanted to kind of be as enlightened as them that he took the plunge and self-aborted a couple times too.
Yeah. You know, that's definitely, for me, it feels like almost self-evident because like you look at them as like parental figures almost too. Like you just feel real childlike in comparison. And that was just kind of an understanding. So yes, I do remember that, you know, that back and forth with them in a sense, but for me, it was never, I guess, like I will be exactly like them, but it was like to be, man,
akin to them, right? Like somewhat, like
grow up close to that, you know, like you're like kind of like how you look at your parents. Like you want to, you know, if you have good parents, you want to aspire to be like them and like that. That was the mindset for me. Like I was the child, and I was I'm gonna go pay my dues, and then, you know, again, aspire to be like my parents, authority figures, but they weren't even really my parents. They were like just, I don't know who I related to them. I just knew that they were just my eternal, like forever party, you know?
So when you were in the presence of 3 of them, right?
Yes, 3.
Okay. So did you kind of feel like you wanted to aspire to kind of, I guess, you know, loosely kind of attain their status or level or enlightenment, whatever you want to call it?
Not really. I honestly felt like legitimately like the parent and child relationship where I wanted to rebel. I didn't want to go, I was
Mhm.
fighting the whole effing time. I really was hard, like just like nah,
Mhm.
no, don't want to, not going to, don't want to lose my memory, blah 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 blah, and then that's basically why I came, because I was like, all right, I'll go, but I'm not losing my memory. And then plus, the whole theatrics, the love bombing, and
Mhm.
reaffirming everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But it was more like, okay, it was kind of like, I guess I'll go because I gotta do this. I guess it's just what it is.
Mhm.
Just gonna go. So
Yeah. Oh,
like rebelling against parents,
yeah.
that's what I felt like.
Hmm. So that's interesting. Do
Yeah.
you think that was some like reverse psychology tactic? Because if
I've
you
never.
didn't want to go
Hmm.
and you're looking at as a rebellion
Hmm.
tactic, you're talking about rebelling to go to Earth or rebellion to not go to Earth?
No, rebelling as in like where they want you to do a certain thing and you're just like, I don't want to do it that way.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't even ready. I didn't want to go at that time,
Okay.
I wanted to just be left alone, essentially.
Okay.
Is like, again, like in the video, the very first video I put, I said it's like when you're trying to get your kid to clean the room,
Mm-hmm.
and they just want to play a little bit more, That's how I felt. I was just like, no, I don't want to deal with that right now. And it was just felt like that rebellious nature, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, the relationship between me and them.
Sure. So there was definitely like that. Yeah, the parental type figure or the
Yeah.
ascended master.
But they weren't
the
my
teacher.
parents. They weren't parents though. You know what I mean? Like that part I can't really describe. Like, again, they were just I've known them forever. They've known me forever. And, which, again, is still really weird. I don't mean to keep going off in all this,
Let's
but
go for it, man.
now that I'm talking about it, it's very strange to think about that, because I don't have any memory of them before I was floating in that orb. Like before that memory first kicked in.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask, or at least clarify that, because I was going to ask you that exact question. Like, so you don't have any recollection of them prior to that? Like nothing.
That's
like
correct.
with a soul group or like in a
That's
soul
correct.
classes or anything?
Nothing. Not at all. And but at the same time, there's that knowing, like, that whatever is happening up there, like, you just know them and they know you forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like an understanding. But when I'm thinking about it logically now, the first conscious memory I have was of me just floating there effortlessly. You just remember, I was just saying I was the orb and blah blah blah. My body was shifting and changing. That was the first memory. Anything previous to that is completely wiped. So that's the kind of like a discrepancy to me, looking back at it.
Yeah, I mean that's the gap. I mean it's interesting too because of the orb thing. We could even potentially look at it as like an etheric overlay, like kind of like the memory wipe, like a possible memory wipe mechanism. I know we're reaching. I mean, there's obviously no way to know that, but
yeah. No, that's just trying a way to try to understand it.
Own self-contained trap potentially.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was speaking to somebody else who is also a pre-birther for the first time. My first time ever talking to somebody else. He had the opposite experience. So that's why it really threw me off when he said that his experience was more like machine like, and I'm like, that's just, it did not resonate with me, because that just wasn't my experience. But just now that you're bringing that up, that it's possibility, is just the illusion that I was being presented. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can talk more about that case privately too.
Yeah.
But it's Yeah, it's eh, again. I mean, the fact that I don't care who's out there. There is just no consistent patterns at all. I mean, there's bolsterous claims from a number of, well, not a number, but a few here and there that talk about, they remember every single past life, or they remember this, they remember all this stuff. But the consistent thread I think that needs to be looked at is that most of us have no freaking clue. Well, I mean,
Absolutely.
like you were saying, like you don't even remember where you put your keys yesterday, or whatever. I'm the same
Yeah.
way, and let alone, memories of this lifetime or past lifetimes, multiple past lifetimes, or where we even came, how we even came into this whole shit show in the first place. I mean, there's too many unknowns, and I think that's why, protecting ourselves thoroughly on our way out here at the time of natural death is just the only logical step, just to not potentially fall into any bullshit.
Yep.
I mean, I wish I don't know. I just wish it was different. I really do. I mean,
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I think there could be, beyond frustrating. I think it would be cool to come down here and experience this, and at least have, even if we were veiled, right? If we came for the experience and were veiled, but had full disclosure when we left here or something, that would be different, right? I mean, hey, you come down, you experience something, it's cool, and it's not as like heavily parasitic either. But even if it was, not saying that I would want it that way, but even if it was, if there was some sort of full disclosure immediately upon death, then okay, all right, let's go and move on to another realm and see what the hell's going on over there, and but it's not like that. It's not. I mean, the reincarnation's obviously real. All these, there's clear systems in play that act like an assembly line inside the matrix, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And all of us here, despite having a bunch of knowledge that we can talk about, it's a drop in the bucket because we don't know shit.
Yeah,
we don't. I mean, like I think anyone who's being honest with themselves about learning, while you're here and exploring different types of information, and even OBE work or lucid dreaming or breakthrough trips, whatever the case may be, anyone who's being honest with themselves, they would have to say that the more they learn, the less they know.
Big time. And I can't express this enough. It's like we're in a fishbowl. We are the fish, and all the answers and truth is on a piece of paper on the table next to your fishbowl, and you're a fish and you can't read English.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a good one.
There's no way. You're stuck in this place, and you are compressed and you are confined, and you are given information that is, bullshit 90% of the time. So
yeah, and I mean that just cements it even further, right? Just like the levels of BS that this realm goes through to try and control us and stomp on our sovereignty is insane. I mean, it's totally batshit. And I mean, if that, there's just so many red flags. It's just over and over and over and over again. They're relentless.
Yep.
But everything's love and light, bro.
Yeah. No, it is not. That's if you have blinders on. And no disrespect to these other people. I was one of them. Go chat. Go watch my first video. I was pretty much the same exact way. I was Mr. Cope. It was just basically all love and light.
Yeah, Harold's channel's in the description, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were...
No, I was done. I was just, I'm not it's just putting blinders on and
Mhm.
just trying to accept the gaslighting and just playing into the system's hands for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean it's the gaslighting. It's freaking endless. But the beauty is when you can see it, and
Yeah.
really, I mean, talk about this constantly. The only way to view this realm is through the lens of a clown show. I mean, if you look at it as a clown show and you can laugh at it, at how absurd and ridiculous it is, it's manageable. It really is. I mean, it's not the pinnacle of experiences, obviously, but it makes it easier to
Makes
stomach.
sense.
There's like what 30 some odd trillion in debt. Ha ha ha. You got the clowns out there, the politicians, and all this. I mean, really, just it's a joke. I mean, anything that comes across your screen that is from the mainstream should just be looked at through the lens of a clown show all day, every day.
Yep. The world is a stage.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And
Experience.
I've been able to start looking at it that way, everything just makes sense. It's like, oh yeah. And it's dark. It's hard at first, but overall I feel super empowered personally now.
Love it.
It's just been crazy since I met you guys, man. Like my life has changed big time in
Wow.
such a great way. Like meeting all these guys, I made some like friends that I've never even seen in person, like you yourself. And I just feel like you guys are just like family.
Yeah, man. Same.
It's talking to real people, and of course we don't even have to talk all the time. We just kind of leave off on the same note because we just,
it's always
we're real
there,
human
man.
beings.
We got that.
Yeah.
We all have that connection, and it's just nice to be able to relate with somebody.
Yeah, because we've been dealing with NPCs 90% of our life, and then now when you're speaking to someone that sees all the same weird shit you're seeing and agrees and you're people you're actually learning from. That's another thing. Like I like talk to people where I can learn from them, not just talk about stupid crap, But anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that. But
No, it was great, man. We kind of had a little rant session. That was nice.
yeah. Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. That's why you're here, man. Come on, man. I freaking rant all the time on this channel. It's great. Love shooting the shit with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
See, she agreed. It makes a lot of sense.
It does. I really want to talk to these guys. Like, I want to talk to these guys. Just I'll see what she says. I feel it. It's gonna be interesting because, okay, again, no offense, please, no offense to her or any of these people.
She knows
they definitely
that.
speak. Yeah, us experiencers, we kind of have it seems like we're speaking from authority sometimes because it's kind of true because we have direct experience, right? It's just beating around that bush. It's just how it is. But when you are challenged with those and your only answer is, well, I just know because I experienced it. Well, you couldn't say that to another pre-birther or another experiencer that has an opposing view because we did too, but our view is different. So explain, try to hear my side, vice versa. I just think it would be a great conversation.
I think it would be too.
We could both learn.
I think you should email her. I have her email address. I can give it to you.
Okay. Any one of them, all three of these guys, I would like to talk to them.
Yeah, Christian. I could see Christian maybe talking to you.
Yeah.
I don't know much about I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but
the one
with the yellow
girl
shirt
from Russia. She's like from Russia, I think, or somewhere over there.
The one with the yellow shirt.
Yes, her.
I don't know. Is she from Russia?
I don't know. She looks like from somewhere from like Kazakhstan or somewhere around there.
I'm not 100% sure. She does have a YouTube channel as well. But,
she seems open to it too. She has said some things. I'm kind of like, I feel like she would,
for sure. Christian, I think, and Melissa are pretty set in their ways, but I've offered multiple times to have Melissa come on for a talk or even a private talk one-on-one, and
Yeah, I know.
she's denied it, and she's also deleted a lot of my comments on her channel despite being perfectly polite and cordial.
Dude,
And
it's
she's
hard,
threatened to hit me
man.
with copyright, but she knew she couldn't do it because it's a commentary. But it's look, I don't know. I just would like to be able to have conversations with anyone about this stuff if they're a real experiencer. A lot of bullshitters out there too, but I'm open to talk to anybody. I mean, the whole point is, having an open conversation and just putting things on the table and saying, hey, look at it this way. Could be right, could be wrong. But
it's not easy, dude, because then they have to, if they even remotely agree with anything like with this, then it's shattering.
Mm-hmm.
It's shattering.
Yeah.
Because there's the comfort. Imagine, like, dude, you're taking, like, ripping a safety blanket from a baby that's trying to go to sleep, just ripping it out of their hands. It's they're comfy and cozy, and I understand it. I really do. I hated it. I having to change my frame of mind. It hasn't been easy, even till this day. It's still tough.
It's not easy. I went through the same thing, man, but you had an even heavier, oh my God, hold on, the dog. You had an even heavier experience because you have the pre-birth memory, right? I mean, you have that. I mean, it's way more intense for you. But as far as my whole thing, it's like, I was taking NDEs at face value. I was, Earth is a school, and blah, blah, all of it started to I started to just accept things, and then it got crushed. And even then, there was a period of a few years where I was going against my gut constantly, like, fighting it. And finally, I'm just like, I'm not going to rehash, things that happen, but it's just, it's crushing. It really is. It's paradigm crushing, and searching for truth always involves those paradigm crushers, but nothing to the level that Soul Trap brings. I mean, it's but I'm sorry.
So I'm so sorry, Mark. I was just saying, and that again, like you mentioned, it's really hard for experiencers because they have experienced this powerful understanding, love, information, all-knowingness, right? So if you experience all-knowingness and you come back to this shell, it's just like you just live with that for the rest of your life. It's impossible. It's like it's just your everything. It's the thing you fall back on. It's your crutch.
Do you think it's all knowingness, or are you just saying kind of all knowingness within the context of your experience? Like,
no, that's just how I perceived it when I'm in that zone.
I'm sorry. When you're in that, okay, I got you. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Not right now. No, I am a fish right now with you guys. So, but no, it's like, when you're in that realm, it's just, you have that all knowingness. So that going from that to this, and then, again, it's a crutch. So I do not blame them for being the way they are, and like not even wanting to, Melissa, like, cause it's like, it's scary, dude. To be straightforward, and the people that you trusted more than you would trust anybody here on earth are possibly not your buddies. That's, dude. Then you have to rely on yourself. She's not relying on herself. She's relying on them. And that's just what it is. And I don't mean that in a bad way, Melissa. I was there too for 30 plus years. So
it's I get it's it's the cognitive dissonance, it's the protective mechanisms built within, that prevent this type of thing from being openly discussed. Or, I'll just say one last thing because Melissa's brought it up on her channel, and I'm not gonna say it. Let's just move on. We'll just leave it alone. But I respect all these experiencers, and an open dialogue would be awesome, and
100%.
no ill will whatsoever.
Yep.
I would say for myself, if we mean vivid and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. I was just gonna spitball again. I was gonna use an analogy, but I don't want to use it here. Just
okay.
Sorry, speaking too freely. Go ahead. Okay.
A visual sense, my most powerful pre-birth memory that I've had for my entire life that has never left me was not visual. Now, I do have other memories with a visual element that may have happened in, more physical realms. I'm not sure. I don't have all the answers to that. And those have come back to me with time. But my memory of the light was so far beyond anything that happens in a physical realm that we can wrap our minds around here. Now, I have put visuals to it, and then I tried to paint it, and I put words to it. I tried to write about it. Nothing even comes close. And then sometimes, right in that state, right before I'm falling asleep, or if I'm deep in meditation or something, I will snap into that state of awareness and I'll see something again. But as soon as I come back, it's like it doesn't make any sense. It's these weird what we would call shapes and colors, but they represent things that I can't even grasp here. And I know I sound completely crazy talking about it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But what I'm getting around to is that I don't want to be misleading and say that I have this vivid memory of being in a visual place, because I don't. But it was so much deeper and so much more real that it is orders of magnitude more real than this life.
Yes.
And it is so real that it's more than just a memory. It's like it is me. My memory of the light is me. It is who I am. It is the number one thing that I've cared about my entire life, stretching back to when I was 2 years old. It's the number one driving force of my life. It has been the reason why I've made all the decisions that I have made, has either been about trying to get that connection to the light back before I understood what I was missing, or now it's about trying to embody that and express that and talk about it, paint it, whatever I can to express it here. So that's how I would describe my memory. Anything else? Yeah.
I'll just add one last quick comment. So I had pre-birth memories that had visual element for sure, like defined visual elements. But the experience of the world as an external visual environment is something we learn on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So we expect that that's what reality is. It's a shared environment that you can visually see. But that's not the fundamental layers of reality. So I'm just making that comment in the context of the question because people are looking for more of what we know on Earth, but what we know on Earth is just a way of experiencing reality. There is definitely sensory experience, but there's also forms of sensory experience that are not even imaginable on Earth. So I'll just make that comment really quickly.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're absolutely right. It's spot on.
Number 6. This is Archie's question. Why can some people remember and the majority don't?
I'll give you guys the opportunity to answer that first.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, so I can give my best guess on why this is the case, and I think it's because, like we were talking about earlier, to be fully immersed, to truly have this experience, we have to be fully immersed in it. And Christian, you can explain this so much better than I can. But part of the deal with being here is that we're not going to remember who we are. And so to fully take on those constraints, as you would say, that's part of what we're doing. That's part of the reason we come here, is to not remember and to challenge ourselves in that way. But I think that maybe the people who have a memory of before, that possibly that's part of their purpose here. That's part of the reason why they came. They came and planned their life knowing I'm going to have this memory and it will affect me in such and such a way. I know for myself, having this memory of the light has, I mean, like I said, it is me. It's my entire life. It's what everything that I've done has been about. And so I have to believe that I probably planned that. But having a memory does make life more difficult in some aspects, I think, because you remember what you're missing. And so for me as a child, as a teenager, I was completely obsessed with how can I get it back? Completely obsessed with it. I didn't care about the normal things that kids my age cared about. I cared about, how am I going to have this experience? How am I going to feel this peace? How am I going to find this love again? What crazy thing do I have to do to stimulate a spiritual experience? And then also adjusting to the world. This world, like I said, was extremely difficult as a child, simply not being able to communicate through thought concepts and just with downloads of information, and then not understanding, well, my parent is all the way across the room, and A, they're physically separate from me, they're so far away, and B, that they're not picking up what I'm sending them here. That's my best effort at answering that question.
Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, so I want to make a quick comment about this. So I also remember asking to have some memory this time, but I also feel very strongly that it's not that one has to have made an arrangement to remember in order to remember. I think that's really important to say.
Okay, so this is the interesting part that I really wanted to talk to you about, Harold. He's saying that there is not an arrangement that has to be made. I think the information kind of veers towards the opposite, but and that's not just your case, but others. I'm not saying it's the case every time, but there could be the memory wipe component involved too. In your case, remembering involved additional suffering, a deterrent or different path on your life script. So, I mean, what do you think based on cases you've looked at? And obviously, you know your experience, so that goes without saying. But what do you think about that? Do you think like in most cases there's like a deal made? Because why wouldn't we all come here with something?
Exactly. I think it's probably most likely a personal choice, because even though I did say I was going to take the harder life to remember, I still under no circumstances would have ever been born if I was going to forget. It wasn't even a question. I was like, there was no budging me if I had to completely lose my memory, like period. I was not going to go. I said, no, if I'm going to go, I want to remember, I look back at it and I think about this and I'm just like, I was so solid and there was just no deal that was going to be made. Like I wasn't going to be going here with a memory wipe. So my personal opinion on this is that the ones that don't remember chose not to remember. You consented to make the dive, memory wipe, or not, because that's just, to me, that's just how it works. You have to have consent.
Well, I mean, like, I guess, like, the big thing with pre-birthers that I see all the time is, like, this incessant harassment to get you to come here.
Oh, for
I
sure.
mean, why the hell wouldn't they just throw you off the ledge and down the fallopian tubes? If they
With the memory wipe.
Yeah, with the memory wipe. If there wasn't some sort of agreement involved.
Absolutely.
So,
And then the
some
thing that-
people love to harp on me with the whole consent thing. Go for it.
Uh-huh.
I don't care. But
How do
the
you-
information show, why do they consistently, constantly are like harassing individuals? Mary, I interviewed you. I mean, there's tons of these cases like where it's like an incessant harassment. If things were just, if it's some big operation and they could just do whatever the hell they want, then they would. But of course, there's still the memory wipe involved. But think about interrogations here. People who are completely innocent of crimes admit to guilt because they're being pressured by the police under an interrogation lamp. That should say it all. It's the same type of bullshit. Now, does it make it right? No. But anyways, I'm done ranting on that. Drives me
you're
crazy.
right.
It's so stupid.
It is. There's so many levels to it, right? Into that consent. And the thing is if you don't remember, how do you know if you consented or not, or not consented? How do you know if you, how do you know if you don't remember?
Yeah.
Period. If you don't remember, you don't remember. It's that simple, guys.
Mhm.
I just can't get around that. If you don't remember, you don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but to me, I have zero doubts as far as the consent thing. There's just this, again, there wouldn't be no magic show, you guys, if this was a forced loop.
That too. I mean, why they go through so much BS to try and keep us convinced of this illusion, to try and keep us believing in hierarchical systems and God and Jesus and Muhammad and all these clowns. All right, and the government, all this stuff. Why do they why put so much effort in if it's so easy? And we don't, we don't have a say in anything whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Then why put so much effort in? Why?
Why love bomb?
Why
love bomb?
Why? Yeah.
Why do anything? We could just be stuck in this washing machine for eternity. There's no need for a magic show if you're in here without your consent, you guys. This is common sense. This isn't even. Just think about it.
Yeah, that's all.
Just think about it.
And
the reason.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying the reason why it seems a little heated is because it's just like constantly like, I would never, it's just constant. Like just, I would never consent to this. I would never do that. And blah, blah, blah. You're part of the system. If you say that you consented to this garbage, what? And then they start bringing up all the horrors of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I would never consent to a place like this. Well, you don't remember. Okay. Number one. And number two, this to me is a major fear response, because guess what? I understand that. Like, what the hell why would I do this?
Yeah.
This place sucks.
Nobody wants to come face to face with that.
The horrors this place conjures up is like unspeakable shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that. I'm not stupid. But when you're in spirit, you are in a different mindset. You're not who you are in this body. So it is most definitely a fear response for you to say, I would never consent to this, because you just don't know. You don't know.
I think that's a great point. That the fear response, what it does is it's even worse, right? It takes away your power.
Yeah,
it takes away your power, and that's like the biggest disservice that some of these clowns out there who push this go to. It's like it's taking away your ability to get to the point where you need to be, and that's like a firm inner knowing. You're unrelenting. You're never ever going to submit to this BS ever again. But like, oh well, there's some out there like say, oh, well, if they let me get through, or if they let me do this, I'm not even going to dignify the BS of the name, but there's a
hand
number
over your
of these.
sovereignty, man.
Yeah, just hand it on a silver platter. Here you go. Here you go. And something even Wayne Bush and I talked about, Dan and I talked, you and I have talked about vegan sketch. I mean, so many of us talked about this. First off, it's not the case. But if it were the case, guess what, guys? We're all fucked. Okay, so let's just push forward and
suffer together.
Yeah, let's suffer together. Let's make the best of this last time, and go out and enjoy yourself. I know I saw someone talking about how they were fishing today and had a great time. That's awesome. Enjoy yourself, guys. Make the best of it. It's still got to deal with day to day and pay the bills and all that stuff, but just do what you can and have a good time. Go on vacation if you can. Go camping. Get out in the nature. Meditate. Make a nice meal at home. Go out to dinner. Whatever the case may be. Talk to like-minded individuals, like in this chat room or outside. But don't ever give this system your power. I mean, that is just completely it's just insane. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what it really showed me with all of that is how fragile so many are, and I get it. Like it's sad because it shouldn't be like this. Like the information shared here should empower. That's all I hope to do here. That's all I know you want to do. Like we just want to self-empower everybody and just put sovereignty, liberation, the non-interference, everything into your own hands instead of just cowering down to this system like a tool. I mean, it's sad. It really is.
Yeah, I see myself as a pretty reasonable person. Trust me, with all the evidence and shit that I've seen, if I thought this place for a second was an impossible doom loop you can never get out of, I'd be screaming it from the rooftops, still trying to figure out a way to freaking break it, right? Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't just give up my sovereignty. Yeah, my essence, my eternal being. Like I would go even a step further. It might even seem unpopular. It's just like there was probably a point in time where we even saw this system from the outside and knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. And knowing that we're like eternal, unchanged, just you cannot break us beings, kind of just decided like, all right, I'm going to go in there and see what's going on because I've never experienced it. Because, at the end of the day, you're going to get out because you're unbreakable. You're unchangeable. You are eternal. You're forever. You are consciousness. Mm-hmm. To me, that makes more sense than all of a sudden we were conjured up out of nothing and we are in this doom loop of hell forever for no reason at all. Like, come on, never get out. Use your common sense. Yeah. It's common sense. Sorry.
Yeah, no, don't be sorry. Again, why do they put so much effort into this?
Yeah, exactly.
Why so much effort? Why so much pressure?
All the effort in the outside, all the effort on the inside. Guys, look at around you. It's like constant distractions. Mm-hmm. Even here, outside, all over the place. It's always, if it was an eternal doom loop forever and it wouldn't be this way.
No, they would be way darker.
Hell yeah.
Way darker.
Absolutely.
Anyways.
So they gotta play the tricks to keep you in here and keep you asleep. Mm-hmm. This place is a sleep zone, man.
Well said, man. All right, I'm glad we talked about that.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's not like I mean, I don't know how you guys say, but I feel very confidently we're not special. I'm not special in this way. Like we're just everyone is an amazing, powerful spiritual being here right now. And that is what we are. Okay. So now the question, why do some remember and some don't? Okay. So I certainly cannot even remotely touch the complexities of the veil. I don't understand all the veil complexities. That's its own thing. It's its own deep technology, its own expertise. But I'll just say that so the veil is organic. And what I mean by that is it's not just like some firm, fixed, hard rule. Ha ha, you're stuck here now. It's something that we wear on and in our consciousness. And what you already are is your consciousness. So if you can locate your consciousness, I know it sounds simple and like wordplay or something, but it's actually really important. If you locate your consciousness itself and spend time with it, just with your aliveness itself and the quality of your mind, the quality of your being, and the quality of the sensation of aliveness in your body, and you spend time with that, it may come to you on its own that you are already on the other side of the veil right now. The earthly experience is happening in you, on you, in you. And the veil is simply the cloak, it's just a metaphor, that you're wearing to permit this level of constraint. So now why is some people and not others? Again, I can't speak to the veil itself, but I'll just say that we are at varying degrees of association with the forms of earth. So many people are deeply, deeply associated with their thoughts and with the stories and with their interpretations and with the feelings and the touching and the visual and the next idea and the next stimulation and the next.
Yep.
You know.
Now, let me just say that the way he describes that there is amazing.
Yeah, he's incredible, dude.
It's insane.
Yeah.
A lot of truth there, too. I mean, but it's also kind of the excuse maker is, at the same breath. I mean, but he's right. Like the more you fall into this materialistic experience, the soul groups, the attachments, the need for wealth and property and cars and everything under the sun, the deeper you go into the system, the more veiled you are, and the less of a chance of you kind of crawling out and awakening.
Mm-hmm.
You want to add anything to that one, or I think it's a really a crazy moment right there.
There's almost no way I could even. This guy's so good at articulating the veil and like the difference. My big, super big brain analogy is, again, it always goes back to the dream reality versus the real reality, and he's basically describing in such a great way the actual veil and what it does to you while you're here. Like, in a really smart way, he's trying to tell you that, yeah, this place is very physical and it seems very vivid, but it's not. It's so, you've probably heard me say this a zillion times, it's dreamy, sleepy, dull colors. It's the opposite of what you see in spirit. He's describing this like physical veil that projects this fake reality that we live in.
Oh yeah, really well said. We're just gonna listen to him kind of say this one more time and move along.
Yeah,
and then we'll probably take a break soon. We've been going for quite a while. How you doing over there? You all right?
I'm doing good. Yeah, doing good.
Cool.
Time with that. It may come to you on its own that you are already on the other side of the veil right now. The earthly experience is happening in you, on you, in you. And the veil is simply the cloak, it's just a metaphor, that you're wearing to permit this level of constraint. So now why is some people and not others? Again, I can't speak to the veil itself, but I'll just say that we are at varying degrees of association with the forms of earth. So many people are deeply, deeply associated with their thoughts and with the stories and with their interpretations and with the feelings and the touching and the visual and the next idea and the next stimulation and the next. What TV show can I watch now? What can I eat? What this person made me upset, and on and on and on. And we just constantly focused in the content of the physical. So the nature of the veil is such that the more we focus on that and the more we lose ourselves in our association with the story of the character, the deeper the veil is experienced as being. So those who are able to let go of that and fully, with full alertness, engage the present moment and explore and feel and know the aliveness that we are, as that happens, I feel that it is natural that aspects of the higher portions of ourselves will rise up all on their own. At least that's how I experience it. I don't experience it like I as a separate person go and get it. I'm not even trying to get it. It's just that as we experience what we are and not the thought, like we put down the objects, the shiny objects of our thoughts, put down the shiny objects and just exist and dwell in the present moment for its depth of fullness, those larger aspects of ourselves can arise on their own. And I feel that in general, that's true for everyone. Everyone is able technically then to know the deeper parts of themselves, even though there is an organic veiling occurring within
Organic.
each of us. RK?
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with both of you, and think especially with the part of it, having a pre-birth memory didn't make things easier for you.
Yeah.
It probably even made it complicated because as a child, I didn't know how to explain because I didn't understand myself what it was, or I tried to seek out that love, and I felt this emptiness that there is something I'm missing something. And I've heard many I love yous, I like yous from my relatives, my mom, but it didn't feel like the love I experienced. So I would say, I would question the I love yous. And I would try to win favor of my mom or other people please, because I thought maybe that way I can experience that feeling of this unconditional love. And
Okay.
where is it?
Yeah.
Or as a
resonate with that
child,
now.
I
That
remember
makes sense.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I resonate with that. Now she kind of clarified what she was talking about before about missing something, and I do agree with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the love bomb stuff. You just can't really get the same kick.
Yeah,
So,
it's a drug.
yeah,
Drug.
yeah. It's just something that you feel is missing again. If you grew up with parents that were like crappy, it's just like you're like dumbfounded by it. You're like, what is wrong with you? You're just terrible person. You're terrible people. But
I know.
and not even just like normal terrible, like you're just bad, like comparing it to something that can be put in words and then to something that's bad. It's like, dude, you almost look at him like evil,
Sure. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, that was it. Because she brought it up earlier and I didn't understand because you wanted me to talk about what she was talking about, missing something, but now I get it.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we'll go till when she kind of finishes her thought here, and I'm probably gonna have to take 10 minutes because my dogs need to eat and be let out. So, because I know we're gonna be going a little bit longer than expected. So,
okay.
So everybody will kind of finish this thought, and I'll let you know when we're gonna take a break. Coming up soon.
I was probably weird, or what people would say, and I wouldn't get along with kids because I couldn't explain to them the things I was trying to put words around it, like how you can think of something and you will get it. And as a child, I went explaining to other children, like, you can think of something and you will get it. I got this toy by just thinking about it every night. And I was, I was bullied, judged, and that made things worse. So I started becoming more timid and shy and anxious about speaking up about my experience and things. So, but I still had this feeling that I'm missing something, and I should find it. But what turned out is it was already in me. And as for the why some people remember and why some don't, I think it's also part of the purpose, because when I got out, as I mentioned earlier, I was very happy that I managed to remember the pre-birth memory because it kept me going. So I was very proud of myself. I was like, yes, I did it. Even though it made things complicated, but I did it. And I still can't figure out what's the bigger purpose, what's that missing thing was. I still get that urge. Like I need to be completing something bigger, something I need to do, but I don't know what it is.
Boom. Right there, my friends. This goes to everything that we talk about. How, NDEers, pre-birthers, look, no, but all these experiencers, all these cases come in over and over and over again, and they don't even know what the hell their purpose is here, what their reasoning is for this incarnation. If that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
I mean, that should say it all. How many NDEers have we gone over who have these amazing experiences? They're told that they need to learn and grow spiritually, whatever it is. The point is, it's to learn and grow and expand, and do whatever they have to do. But when it comes down to it, when they're back here, they will admit constantly that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know. So if we're all kind of in this bubble, even experiencers have no clue why the hell they're here, what their purpose is. Some of them, of course there are exceptions where some claim that they know. I mean, look, I've run into some incredible NDE cases where, you have someone who's really well off financially. They have an experience, and they come and they'll build soup kitchens and help the homeless and do all sorts of amazing things to help others. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, and I am not crapping on any of that, but when you're listening to them, they still don't know what the hell they're supposed to do. And when you think in terms of the system and how, even though these NDEers will claim that, there's no judgment or shame and this and that, well, they come back and they're changed spiritually, oftentimes for the better, but still at the behest of the system. But they're changed for the better, and they want to do good. They see the good in everyone, right? And for example, again, the like those who are well off and do things like, help the homeless, set up soup kitchens, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. Even it makes you wonder, okay, so if they had an NDE and they were being judged, but they also in the same breath say that it's not judgment because they were judging themselves, and that's the narrative we hear constantly. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's judging you. There's no shame or guilt or fear or judgment being cast down on you. But for some reason, the system kind of zones in on these moments and makes you relive them through the eyes of the individual that you may have offended or hurt. And if that doesn't spell out judgment and shame, I don't know what does. And then if you come back and you do good and you're well off and you're helping the homeless and this and that, are you trying to even the playing field, through your post experience, by helping others? Not that it's bad, but it's interesting, right? It's interesting. So, I don't know. It just, the bottom line is one thing I've taken away from sifting through all these damn experiencer cases is nobody even knows why the hell they're here or what their purpose is. And of course there's that small subset that, like I mentioned, that claim they do, but they're few and far between. Most of them openly admit to us time and time again that they don't know.
Yep. And the common theme is they that you do hear amongst them is just you have to suffer to grow.
Yeah.
That's the big one, right? But then that's a huge discrepancy if you use logic, right? Because if you're already
Yeah.
if you're already pure love, right? You're experiencing pure love. You are pure love. You're pure. Why do you need to go become unpure to be more pure? If you're already perfect, why do we have to go live this degenerate life?
No,
It
it's
makes
so
no
true. So
sense.
true. Yeah,
I feel like that's a huge discrepancy
yeah, it's absurd. It's the whole thing. It just
in the
goes.
reasoning. Even if that's like in their reasoning, that's a
Mhm.
discrepancy. It's not, to me, it's not really valid.
I agree. All right, let's
I still get
move
that
on.
urge sometimes, but I keep remembering the guidance I kept receiving was just be at present moment, be the now, be the love, and be the patience, be the compassion, and be yourself. And that is already gonna change the whole world. So that's what I keep remembering and recalling as a guidance to myself. Like, this is what I have to remember, because it's easy for me to get lost in that urge of going out and helping and trying to save everybody, or the feeling, I don't know what it is something. But for those who
So I want to interject with real quick. Sorry, that hole that you're describing, that that missing thing that we're searching for, that we feel, is, so first of all, everybody I think feels that to some extent. We all feel there's something missing. I just want to say that we need to acknowledge the incredible bravery and strength that it takes to even look at that in ourselves, because that missing hole is profound. It's the source isn't really missing, but it feels like that which is most us is gone. And that alone prompts so much fear. And in my own pre-birth experience, I reacted in fear immediately. I was like, this is not happening. I am not going to be
100%, dude.
in this state.
Yeah, that's you in a nutshell, man.
I'm telling you, dude. I was that thought alone of losing yourself is kind of, you're not giving up your sovereignty, but you're giving up part of yourself. Like, when you forget who you are, it changes the entire game. That is where the fear stems from with me. And that's why I was saying, hell no, I'm not losing myself here. I don't want to. And you know, I can't express enough how, again, that's why I would always say the ones that forgot, you guys are the brave ones. Like, that's incredible. I would never, I can never imagine doing. I don't have any urge. Maybe that's just my fear right now. Maybe that's just Harold saying that. But even in the spirit, I said F no. So it's a huge deal to make that commitment to just, okay, I'm gonna let go for a little bit.
Yeah, it's
and we all did it.
We're all here.
We're all here, exactly. So I've always been so impressed, and then on top of that, been impressed with the ones that just don't know, and then also the ones that are awaking to this stuff without having experience. Because I'm telling you, I can see myself just getting lost. If I didn't know what I knew and saw, experience what I experienced, I would probably just be stuck here.
Yeah.
That's probably why I said I don't want to forget, because I'll probably get lost in sauce.
So easy. So easy.
Oh, it is. Oh, big time. Big time.
Like, there's no way, because that hole is so profound. So I'm just lifting up that there is an incredible beauty in the strength that you demonstrate, that all of us demonstrate, when we acknowledge and actually allow that hole and meet life, even though it's there. Like, even though that distance is occurring and we're feeling that, because I'm just saying so many people run from it and cover it, and because it prompts fear and then the ego and then all these ego layers, and now we don't even remember it. We're just going to eat the next cookie, or whatever we can do to like feel better, and just try to fill that gaping missing hole that we don't even remember that we're missing. I'm just saying it takes great strength to face it and feel it and acknowledge this is the state we're in right now, and become fully allowing of the human condition set. And when we fully allow that and like just totally like welcome it and feel even that distance, even that hole, that's when the peace returns, because it's not like it actually went anywhere. I don't know how to say it. I just wanted to encourage that, because I feel like someone is listening, that might help somebody.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Okay, I think that's a good place to kind of take a break at. I'm sorry. Excuse me. So we're probably going to take about 10 minutes. It might be a few, no more than 15, but I'm going to throw the 10-minute countdown clock up. If it's going to take longer, I'll drop in the chat and let you know, but I got to feed the dogs and let them out. And we'll be back shortly. Let's just mute up. I want to thank Harold again for joining us. How you doing? You okay to go on for a second segment?
Yes, I can go on for a second. Yeah.
Right. So we will see each other shortly, my friends. Just hit the mute button, Harold, and we'll see each other soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience, my friends, and welcome back. Just as a reminder, this channel is for educational purposes only, or perhaps in the eyes of the law, entertainment purposes only. Okay, and wanted to just throw it out there. I do have 2 YouTube backup channels. I still get messages. There was kind of an influx of them over the last month that some of you weren't getting notifications on YouTube. So the only suggestion I can really provide is to make sure that the bell is set to all notifications, and subscribing to the backup channels is just a good precaution just in case something should ever happen here. I also have an email list you can find in the description, along with an Instagram and a Twitter and Facebook, where I put out notifications about an hour in advance. So kind of have a few different platforms going if you're interested in joining the live streams. And I have a Twitch where I do Truth in Gaming. And Harold also has his own YouTube channel that he just reclaimed after losing it for some time. So feel free to check that out. That's also in the description tab, and we'll pop that in the live chat as well for you now. And let's see, Odyssey and Rumble. Odyssey's my preferred alternative video streaming platform, but also Rumble's been improving as well. They just improved their app, so I don't know if any of you've seen that. So, but overall, I prefer Odyssey as a alternative platform. But feel free to check us out over there. There's also a referral link for both if you're interested. It does help kind of promote the channel a little bit more on both those platforms, and it would be most appreciated. And there are channel memberships available on YouTube and Odyssey as well, where you can get extra content each month. We have a monthly members live stream. You also get access to the Discord, members Discord server, and early release videos on occasion as well. Just as a reminder for Stream Level Last Timers Club members, today we will be having a group voice chat in the Discord server after the stream. We'll be starting about 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of the stream, so feel free to join us there. And Odyssey, Crunchy B says Odyssey buffers. It used to buffer. It's fine now. There was an issue with Odyssey, I would say about a year ago they were doing it, but they upgraded the servers and it's been great. So, yeah, they've done good. Also, just as a reminder for anyone that does watch on Odyssey, as soon as the stream ends, there's a period of time, and this also goes for Rumble as well, where the stream isn't available for about maybe 10 minutes. If the stream is really long, it could be like 15 minutes. So if you are watching on Odyssey or Rumble and the stream concludes, sometimes it could hiccup for a short amount of time, but that resolves itself fairly quickly. But that's the beauty of it, is it's decentralized, right? So the videos aren't going anywhere, and unlike what can happen on you know what. All right, so I want to welcome Harold back to the channel. It's been great talking with you, my friend. How you doing over there? You okay?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to keep going into this.
Great,
man. I just want to thank you for having me again, and I love talking to you guys and learning.
Love talking to you too, man. Yeah, it's been a great conversation. It's just been flowing really good. We've been kind of bouncing ideas off one another and hearing more about your experience and how you relate with what they're saying. I really enjoy it. And I really appreciate you coming on for this entire series. It's been great. And anyone out there who's listening, who's maybe just only seen this video, we've done 2 others covering this pre-birther panel, and then Harold's also come on a few other times. So feel free to check those out if you'd like. So anything you want to say before we press on here, my friend?
Nope, not all. Just thanks again.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate it. 100% sure there will be someone who needs to hear it, or there is someone. But yeah, in terms of the memories, I think it was part of my purpose to remember them for some reason. And as looking back at my childhood, I think they kept me going, because the message in my pre-birth memory was, you're gonna be loved and you're gonna be welcome. Always remember that. Even though I had challenges in my life, as this innocent child, naive child, I always believed that there was gonna be a day when I'm loved and welcome, because they said it. I didn't know who, but there was like, they said it. But yes, it did make life a bit complicated. And what I can say is, I don't think we need to remember. I don't think so.
Right.
I observe people around me, and including my partner. And my partner has absolutely no desire of questioning the other side, the afterlife, the consciousness. He's just very into his work and into nature, into birds, into talking about cars and this, the houses and about the construction and things. But I look at him and I think I understand this is the choice. This was probably the choice of these souls as well, because he's still enjoying the life, and we have totally different perspectives on everything, but he doesn't try to question things. But still, I have so much to learn from him, and every day I learn something from him, even though some people don't have this spiritual transformations, pre-birth memories, near-death experiences. We still have so much to learn from each other, because we are constantly teaching each other everything.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not necessary to remember, and it's not necessary. It's certainly not a goal for anybody to recall it.
Here comes the excuse train. See, this is where we differ. It's not necessary for everyone to remember. It's okay. Don't worry about it just because you can't remember. I mean, I know she's not saying that directly, but like, it's bothersome because a lot of us do want to remember.
Yep.
And we want to remember much more than just this incarnation. We want to know everything that's happened before all of this.
Yeah.
Or be attached to the idea of recalling it. I wouldn't say that's necessary, unless you are called to do it, unless you feel like, I don't know, unless your intuition tells you that's something that you need to do. You need to recall it, because there are many practices available to recall your past lives, pre-birth memories, or life between lives, things like that. So I'm pretty sure it is possible, but yeah, I wouldn't get attached to the idea of why this person has, because it doesn't make a difference at all. It doesn't make anything easier or harder. It doesn't make anybody special, or status wise. You don't grow, you don't get rewarded, you don't get anything for it. And same in the afterlife, you don't get rewarded for anything. You're not like, there are no levels of spirituality. Like, there is no such thing as, oh, this is spiritual good, you are on level 10. You are not spiritual, you are on level 1. There is no such thing as that. So I wouldn't say you need to remember or even bother with it, because if you don't, you don't. But keep on enjoying the life and every moment now as if it's the new life, because I now started fully understanding the meaning of free will, because every moment now is like the reincarnation. And I think we have, I don't know, I don't think we have the fully explanation of reincarnation, because I don't think we fully get it, how it happens. We think like it's a linear thing, time where we reincarnate as this human and we have a break and then we go back. What if it's not that way? What if it's all happening at once? What if you just lay down and you decide to go decide to have 5 dreams, one on Earth, one on other planet, one on there, one on this, and this. What if it's that way? You don't know.
Yeah, we don't know, and that goes to the root of the problem. We don't know. There is so much we are completely hidden from, right? So, part of me kind of says, okay, yeah, like I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, you know, take the sovereign path and see what the hell happens. Why if a system, okay, you have a pre-birth memory, or if you have an NDE, or even when we die, it doesn't take a freaking brain surgeon to figure this out. We can see clearly that the system that sends pre-birthers here, or life between lives experiencers here, or are the same systems that work with NDEers while they're here, or breakthrough trippers when they're here, and all this other stuff. So there's this very streamlined connection out there that points to the same system sending us here and when we leave at the time of death. So why would, based on your surroundings, based on what this freaking clown show is, why on earth would you just blindly trust that what it's selling is accurate? And why does it need to use something like a love bomb, a drug dealer of epic proportions that cannot be compared to on Earth? Why does it need to use all of these tactics in order to keep us, you know, contained within the illusion and prop it up? That's because it's one big fat scam. I mean, that's just my opinion on it, but it's like, why is there this continued blind trust of something that has done nothing but deceive humanity, you know, beyond words?
Yeah. Yep. And it seems like all the answers, the reasoning behind it is never, it's not exactly good enough. The answers aren't good enough, and it's just, you can't reason away just suffering to, you know, to empower your soul or to learn from this place. Like those things just don't add up.
Agreed. And Black Uni says faith. Yeah, that's the worst is faith and hope. You know, banking on something that will be or should be. Yeah. And then when you kind of look into the whole thing with NDEs and shared death experiences, how they mold these experiences and customize it to the individual. So if everything is customized and molded, that means that the belief system, which has been proven again time and time and time again by the leading researchers, not me, the leading researchers that have been dedicated their lives to things like NDEs, you know, decades, and they show time and time again how everything is belief-based driven. So, and where are those beliefs coming from? From earthly sources, from the system. So that alone should be a red flag. Everything is being customized to you when you leave here. So if it's being customized, it's basically the equivalent of stacking the deck. You know, you're dealing yourself a royal flush every single time. I mean, it's bonkers, totally bonkers. But it's right in front of our face every single day. Anything you want to add?
No,
okay.
Well said.
Okay.
Well said.
Thank you.
So I wouldn't question on you know, on that, but the magic of present moment now, that's where the free will is, and you have this, you can reincarnate if you want to in the present moment now. You decide who you want to be, how you want to talk, how you want to behave, what you want to do, what hobbies you want to do, who you want to become tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the after the moment now, who you want to become. So I think it's better to focus on the joy of life and the moments of
No,
now and what
I have
you
something to
can
say.
do with your free will.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have something to say. She said you got to focus on the joy in life, and that's a discrepancy for me as well. Like I was thinking one thing, to talk about like the whole faith thing. That's one thing I would always ride on. Like when people would treat me bad, I'm like, oh, you're gonna get yours. Like, just kind of having this faith, like the system will work out and everything will be fine, and the world is like this for a reason, and blah blah blah. And then I thought about it, I'm like, none of this should exist. Like this is
100%.
the levels of horrors are so, it's not okay. And how can we turn a blind eye to that? Like this shouldn't exist. What is, like, why is it this level of depravity? This coming from an all loving loving creator just doesn't make sense. It has never made sense to me, ever. She said you should always focus on the good things of life. Well, no, of course I would love to do that, but I'm sort of a little indifferent to all the other things that I know is going on in dark dungeons. Okay, like,
Sure.
you guys, none of this should even exist, and I can't sit here and make excuses for it. I used to, but I feel like it's impossible now. It's not, I think it's unfair to turn a blind eye to the horrors too.
Absolutely. And Black Uni says trafficking and slavery is also back, and these things are for profit now. I mean, I don't think it's ever left, but it's always been there. It's just that, hey, it just depends on, where you decided to incarnate, what family you decided to incarnate, geographical location, all this stuff plays a massive role, but it's happening every single day in every single country, no matter where you live, it's happening, and it's being suppressed. It's being
for how
hidden.
long?
I think for as far back as we can look at. I mean,
Ever,
can't obviously prove it, but it's clear that it's, that the record of atrocities knows no bounds. It's one of the things I like to talk about is, the common theme, regardless, it does not matter what you believe about the historic narrative that you've been told. We all know we've been lied to, right? That's a given. But one of the most common themes that pops up over and over and over again is us being crushed at with some outside force, whether it's government or kings, queens, religions. How many have died in the name of religion? Slave trades. I mean, all this stuff in sacrifice. Human and animal sacrifice it's everywhere. You look at history, that's one of the most common things that will pop up over and over and over again. And we know it's going on now. We know it's gone on in the past. So what? Oh, that history for some reason is wrong? No, it's a common theme that pops up constantly. And it's popping up constantly because it's true. But of course they water it all down. And there are a lot of atrocities that have happened, even in the modern era, that have not even been brought up. And other atrocities are kind of put towards the forefront and magnified. And meanwhile, the other ones that have occurred have just, it's like they don't even exist. It's insane. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just in, my family's background, I'm not going to get into it, but the point is it exists. It's out there. It's happened, and it's been happening. There's no discrimination on atrocities. It's just a matter of, what time period, again, what family, what time period, geographical location, all this stuff, all that plays a huge role. but that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened and it doesn't continue to happen. It's, I mean, again, just the design of the human body. How can anyone, justify the horrors that is the human body? And then how come humanity can never get the upper hand in all this after all this history? How can we all sit here and think that humanity has not finally figured it out?
That's
How?
I mean. It's like, it's just like, it's impossible, right? If this place was real, like this wouldn't be happening.
Yes.
Because it's just like these are all these problems that are like compiled. They're so easy.
They're in our face,
so easy
too.
to fix.
In
It's
our
very
face,
frustrating.
easy to fix. I mean, very, very common stuff. I mean, really everything, the whole thing with how everything has like been, everything's international and you need all these products coming in from different countries. I mean, just the atrocities that happen alone with the
Just from that.
electronics we buy.
From consumption, just from consumption, it's sick.
Insane. I mean, just look into how like the batteries that we use for our phones, for our laptops, the microchips, all that stuff. It is a horror show. And it's all built on the back of slavery. A lot of child slavery too.
Yep, family slavery, just people, humans, just, and was like, when does it end? And you can't justify that in my eyes.
No,
and I'm like,
you can't.
because let's just be real here, guys. I mean, if you were an all-knowing creator being, would you make a place like this? Like, it doesn't jive with what they're saying. They say put all your faith and trust into these people, but they want to send you to a place like this to learn. Why does it even exist in the first place?
Again, like we talked about earlier, it's like it would be different. I'm not talking about atrocity wise. I'm talking like, like the flaws of the human body, like the memory wipe and all that stuff. Like if it existed and you had a full disclosure at the time of death, it would be so much different. But still, that still would never, ever, ever excuse the atrocities ever. Like it just drives me out of my mind. And and some have experienced more suffering, some have experienced less suffering, some have have the silver spoon, all that stuff, but in the end everyone still suffers. And but like to not acknowledge that there are children, women, men being trafficked and traded on a slave market in modern times and throughout all of the entirety of human history is just ignorant. It's ignorant. But, again, it's the blinders. It's the cognitive dissonance. Oh, like, I'm not experiencing it. I'm not seeing it. So, I may see a story that pops up in my feed once in a while, or I may have read something in a book that kind of exposes a little bit here and there. But hey, I'm not there. Hey, my life's good. I got power. I got electricity. I got plumbing. I got the grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, honestly, it just drives me out of my mind that these things cannot be considered on a broader scale, and humanity cannot get its shit together. Humanity can never get its shit together because it's not meant to. It will be thwarted every step of the way.
Yep.
All right. Sorry.
No, that's the truth, man.
And see what you can create rather than worrying about the comparison. Like, why do these remember? Why don't I don't have that? I think.
Yeah, I just want to say I agree 100% with that. And I feel like some people seek to escape in this avenue. But the thing is, this experience right now is spiritual. This is a deeply spiritual experience. And This is what we're here to do.
Mhm.
So I agree 100% that there's not really a need to go and, try to remember. But
Are the children who, go and mine the microchip elements, is that what they're meant to do?
Yeah.
That's what they're here to do? It's
Mark,
a learning experience.
I'd even go as far as saying, let's just say we just can't understand why, because we're in these flesh suits, right? We can't grasp the reason. Let's say that. But I think it's entirely irresponsible to say, I only want to focus on the good things. I feel like you need to focus on even, Christian Sundberg said, be in the present, be in the moment. And I think that requires you to open yourself and look into things that upset you as well.
Mm-hmm. Things that are
because
uncomfortable.
You need to rationalize it, because how are you supposed to learn? You're just putting blinders on. That's just common sense. You can't put blinders on and expect to see the whole picture.
No.
So
it's so
just
well said,
irresponsible.
Man. It is really well said, man. Thank you.
Yep.
We're free to do whatever we like. So like you said, if you choose to do that, so be it. That's great.
I also want to echo what both of you said, that having a pre-birth memory does not make you special in any way. It's just, I think, different experiences. Like we may choose to have different experiences. There's some people may ask as they're coming in, please let me remember this. I don't want to forget this. And also what you said, Christian, that this life is just as spiritual. It is. And getting, like you mentioned, one of you mentioned trying to escape into the experience, which has been a big issue that I have had, huge issue that I've had, wanting to just escape into the memories or into having some type of supernatural experience, when in reality, we have to get into the physical experience, and we have to deal with the contrast, the fear and the anger and all of the emotions that we have. And we have to go into that and fully immerse ourselves in that in order to discover that we are already what we're looking for. And so there's a reason why we're here, and we don't want to run from it.
No, I agree 100%. I think the escape, the feeling of trying to escape makes you more and more unconscious. And the more miserable you start feeling about yourself. But the more you become aware, that's where you regain that consciousness and the power, and you start enjoying for the things for what they truly are, and yourself for who you really are. So I think, that's what a lot of people do in their life.
Anything you want to add?
It's just what we were talking about. The same thing. Just
the blinders.
Putting the blinders up. And you know what, man? I'm enjoying life too. Of course, I have major issues that I deal with all the damn time. But I'm able to, not saying I'm better than these guys at all. I just think it's just irresponsible to not
look at the whole picture.
Man. Like, of course, I can go out there and, just be like this too. I find it kind of easy. I was doing it for a long time. It was my coping mechanism to fall back on this. I'm just like, man, I know I have angels watching me over my shoulder at all times. That was my thing all the time. I just knew it was just like, it's just like, again, that crutch. Yeah, man, it's just the same thing. Just putting blinders on. I just think it's irresponsible.
Yeah, it is. It's denying yourself. Everything roots back to the cognitive dissonance. I mean, I think, as Dan has said, quite a few times, he said, if there's one thing that he would take away from humanity, it would be cognitive dissonance, because everything would fall apart. And he's right. Being able to not go to the safety mechanism and face reality for what it is head first would blow the gates out of the whole entire deception and scam. So when he says that, I think it's he's really on point.
Yeah.
And including me.
It's a beautiful comment. Thank you.
All right, one last question, our bonus question number 7 is, what is one thing that you took from your pre-birth memories and how did it impact you? So I'll let one of you take that one first.
It was always giving me this hope throughout my life, even when I didn't know what the hell was going on in this life, around the world, on earth, with people, and why things and are moving in the way they're moving. But it will always gave me hope that there is a purpose for me being here, even in the darkest times of my life where I thought, that's it, I'm quitting, I don't like it. But it gave me that hope, and I think it protected me in some more unexplainable way from a lot of things I could have turned into. I think the challenges in life, you have the free will. You can say, you get that pain, you feel like people are treating you this way, and you can get that, you can turn into it totally, you can turn evil, you can turn to you can become that person who tries to take revenge and things like that. But that memory was giving me this comfort, that of that hope and love, and just to be patient. And even when my ego would say, you are a pushover, people are walking all over you, or some people would say people are bullying you or walking all over you because you are a pushover, or you are sensitive, you are this and this, and I still would recall that memory, feel the truth in that, rather than everywhere else, from everybody I was hearing from, and even from my ego, that there was this truth that I am loved and I will always be loved and welcomed. So I kept on to that. And I think one thing, if I would say one thing that it gave me, is the sense of home and sense of belonging and sense of me. But I think right now I understand that I'm at home, and that the home is not the afterlife, and it's not heaven, but the home is state of being, and it's a natural state of being of who we are. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that memory, because it showed me that the unconditional love, although it did mess up some of my some things in my life, but I'm grateful, because I thanks to that I am where I am right now, and I feel at home. I no longer have the urge to escape this life. I no longer have the urge to escape the human experiences, but I'm fully enjoying it. And I understood that the universe, or the God, what other people would call, is not a being which is like separate. It's a state of being. And that's what we are, because we are that universe. We are that whole. So I think that's what it gave me, the peace and the feeling, and the full understanding of the word home. I am at home, and wherever I go, I am at home. Doesn't matter, even if I end up in another country or on the other side of the planet, wherever I am still at home. I am at peace. So I am very grateful for the memory that it kept me going. If I was asked again,
Yep.
after this,
See that? It keeps her
life,
going, man. Like,
yeah, just like you.
Yeah, dude. It was my everything. She basically said exactly what I said earlier. She was talking about like how people like kind of treated her like crap, and then she just kind of reverted back to that memory. Like, I know what this is all about. And it's just like, it's your very strength. And, yeah, dude, it's a big deal, as you can see. It's keeping her going through life. So that's why, and I think Melissa feels the same way, and I'm pretty sure
Christian
does. So like, you can imagine anything that breaks away that comfort. It just, again, I just always revert to that scene in the Matrix where Neo, he gets plugged back into the machine. He's like, no, this can't be real. And he just like, it's just, that's what I went through. So a few times. So
man,
yeah,
it's a
not wanting
hell of
to
a
accept
journey.
it.
Yeah, dude, I think it's so difficult for an experiencer like yourself or an NDEer to kind of come out the other end and come face to face with this realm for what it is. I mean, your experience was extremely powerful. Like you said, it provided guidance when things were dark or not, right? I mean, when things were going good or not. But and that's kind of how NDEers will consistently talk about their experiences, how, it's like they have something to look forward to. They have something, it's like, hey, I might be back in the thick of things here in the earth realm, but hey, I know where I'm going and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Not knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. Sorry, but I know where I'm going, and it gives them like this inner peace, this solace within.
And yeah, and you hear them, and they're just like, I think Christian said it. He used the words like, it's not even debatable, and I resonate with just that little sentence, because it's not debatable what happened. We know, is like, we don't. It's almost like, don't care what anybody says, because we know what's up. Like, it's like an inner knowing. It's more real than this place, so we just know, right? And who do we talk to about that, and then so when we reach out, and then we talk to these guys are talking amongst themselves, and they're just riffing off each other, which I would probably do the same thing half the time with them, right? But when they have an opposing view that is not an experiencer, what is their first reaction going to be? Like, you don't understand because you don't know what I know. You don't know what I felt. You don't know what I saw, like the infinite knowledge pouring through me. Like, it's just, that's probably why, we're, getting, not we're, but you were getting stonewalled, because they don't want it. It's like a speaking from authority mindset. So like, who else do we talk to? Who else do we debate with? So
yeah, and they've blockaded everyone else from kind of expanding and finding themselves. So it's like you're a lost wanderer.
Yep. It's super difficult, man. And that's why I have so much compassion for these guys, because I'm like, I just want to talk to them, see what they say, because they can't tell me. They can't say, well, I know because I was in the data stream, and I'm just like, well, me too.
Reach out to them, man. You never know.
I think it would be huge, man.
You never know.
I would love to talk to them, but yeah,
just don't be disappointed if they deny you.
I
hope not. I really hope not. But
then they're denying one of their kin. It's kind of like, really, what's different about me? Just because I have a different viewpoint? That's very.
Tell them, look, my video was out there long before you ever came across my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say like, hey, my video's been out there. You can even see the progression of, me doing a commentary on your video, and then us doing an interview, and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you can even just say like, hey, like, just because I have a difference of opinion, I was where you're at, and I just want to talk. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Again, they said it themselves. We even experiencers, non-experiencers, they learn so much from non-experiencers too. I do too, every single day. So what's different about me? You know, why, or even you? Why not? Why are they not listening to you? You know, that's a big red flag to me, man. Like, they should really listen to their own words and then come back and revisit. Like, just talk.
Well, the
simple.
experience is so powerful. That's why. I mean, like,
I know.
It's a really, yeah. Just like
I know.
Yeah. Difficult.
It's a safety blanket that we put on ourselves, and everything else, all the whole 9 yards. But they're doing a disservice to themselves. And I will not beat around the bush anymore with my words. I'll do my best, but I just can't see it any other way. Yeah,
that's the issue. It's like it's so in our face, but you know, we've already talked about that many times over.
After finishing this character's life, if I was asked again, would I do it again? I would absolutely say yes. Or even if I was asked, because I thought about it, if I was asked, would you like to repeat Arky's life again?
What'd she say?
Knowing that it's gonna be.
She said that basically, you know, she would do it again. Like if the offer was presented her and she was to offer to repeat her life again, she would do it.
Well, her life, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's try cell phone material picker life. You know, let's try stuck in a dungeon life, or you know, the list goes on. Come on,
Jeffrey Epstein's
on.
You know,
yes,
island inhabitants.
That's where I was hinting. That's exactly what I was hinting towards. Like, come on, like, what if you don't get the option to do yourself again? Like, you know,
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. What it seems like,
just
right?
Blinders.
I mean, the one thing that pops up regularly is like, you know, for especially in regressions in Life Between Lives, they will consistently say like how, you know, they look, you know, they're rich one moment, one lifetime, they're in the pits of hell the other lifetime, or, you know, and on and on. I mean, like, it's not like it's all, you know, so hey, you may grow up with all the luxuries of what we consider today as modern society, but that sure as hell doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen next lifetime.
And I even feel like she's even saying that because she probably does have some crazy trauma, like things that have happened to her.
Seems
right?
like it, yeah.
And that's why she said that, kind of like, even though my life was hard, I would do it again. But like, dude, I could say the same thing. I would live Harold's life again. But like, what if you don't get that? It's it can be way worse. It could be way worse. So yeah, that's just, again, it just boils down to, again, the putting up blinders and only seeing the good side of everything, and that's the problem. That's part of the issue.
Sure. I am at peace. So I am very grateful for the memory that it kept me going. If I was asked again after this life, after finishing this character's life, if I was asked again, would I do it again? I would absolutely say yes. Or even if I was asked, because I thought about it, if I was asked, would you like to repeat Arky's life again, knowing that it's gonna be it's gonna be exactly the same, I think I would say yeah. Yeah, of course, let's go. That's how much of a strength and trust it gave me, and peace. So I'm very, very grateful to it. I think that's what I got. The feeling, the sense of belonging and sense of home.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's two primary things that I took from my pre-birth memories, and one of them we would see as a positive. The other one is not so obviously a positive, but for most of my life, the main overriding thing that I carried with me was just this knowing, this remembering of what this connection that I had, this overwhelming unconditional love and bliss and inner peace and connectedness, and something that just doesn't seem to exist here. And I didn't understand that it was a pre-birth memory. I didn't have any of this knowledge that I do now. And it really just drove me to constantly seek this experience. With time and maturing and understanding, it allowed me and it kind of forced me into a situation where I finally realized what I'm looking for is within me. What I'm looking for, I'm already that. Like you were saying, I am home and I'm always at home. But it took me 29 years to get there. The other thing that I took from my pre-birth memory that I've sort of always had is just this underlying knowledge that love is the answer, and that there is this other place where love and peace and harmony is the normal experience. And so when I was young, the collective consciousness, it has changed a lot. But when I was young, it was just this very like mocking attitude towards that idea. And that was sort of hard for me to deal with as a child, but yet it was strong enough that it never left me. That love is the answer, love is the way. I can't be hateful or angry towards people, even like criminals or murderers or anything like that. I would have a hard time understanding, well, how can you not love them? Because love is what will change them. And so I sort of always had this underlying knowledge about love. And I guess those are the two primary things that I took from my experience.
Yeah, but love can be weaponized. Love can be, again, we've talked about this many times, how, individuals will kill in the name of love. I mean, there's so many things that love can do to someone. Again, love is the best thing that this realm has going for it, but it's squashed constantly. And because of the human condition, the meat suit, and the way it's designed, it can make someone do some horrific things. So yeah, exactly. As Black Uni says, love can be leveraged. Exactly. I mean, that's a really, really great point. Your own values can be leveraged against you. So, I mean, it's really, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of flaunts duality right in front of our faces.
Yep.
Yeah, Melissa, what you just said about loving those who have done some wrong is something that I sensed as well. And I think it's one example of like, okay, so in my case, I had some pre-birth memory as a child, but then I forgot it for most of my adult life until I was 30. But especially as a child, I assumed certain aspects of the larger reality would be true here, and they weren't. And that kind of feeling that love is the answer is
Did you hear that? He said he had some kind of preconceived notions about what love would be like when he's here. Basically, he got hoodwinked. He's admitting he got hoodwinked. Openly.
Caught that too. Yeah.
I mean,
it's a trip.
We'll hear that one more time.
How can you not love them? Because love is what will change them. And so I sort of always had this underlying knowledge about love. And I guess those are the two primary things that I took from my experience.
Not all it's cracked up to
Melissa,
be.
what you just said about loving those who have done some wrong is something that I sensed as well. And I think it's one example of like, okay, so in my case, I had some pre-birth memory as a child, but then I forgot it for most of my adult life until I was 30. But especially as a child, I assumed certain aspects of the larger reality would be true here, and they weren't. And that kind of feeling that love is the answer is a part of that picture. It's understood. Love is what's needed. It's just what's needed. It's that there. Yeah. So, but here, this is such an alien place. Not only because of the limitations and the constraints, but because of where the collective consciousness is and because of the ideas that prevail here. And so I definitely sensed that, I think, more than others. I think all of my life, in fact, I've had difficulty coming to terms with how certain things operate here. And for a long time, I didn't really attribute that to my pre-birth memory when I didn't remember it. But when it returned to me when I was 30, And now it was like, oh my goodness, no wonder these things have not, so many things about Earth have not made sense to me.
So if things don't make sense, why are you throwing rationale out the window?
Because of the love.
No, the love. Well said. You're right.
Yep.
You know, there's just so many things I've expected and sensed, like this should be the way it is. You know, we should be able, and you and I were kind of talking about it before we started recording today, Melissa, these feelings of like, we should be able to share what we feel. We should understand each other, and we should have this connection with nature, this connection with the environment that I can draw on it, and it's a part of me and I'm a part of it. And
Can
we're
I say
missing
one
that
thing?
here. And like, we just sense that it's,
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
If he was saying we need to accept everyone, right? Then at the very least, they should be having conversations with us. That's it. Just wanted to
Well
put that out.
said.
If you guys were
Clip
accepting
that.
if you guys are going to be accepting of serial killers and all these horrible things because of love, then have a chat with us. That's simple.
it.
We're not any of those horrible things. Just trying to talk to you.
Yeah, I
That's
love
it. What's going on?
That's a good one. Yeah, you should, dude. You should clip that and send Christian an email and say, "Hey, can we have a
Please
talk?
Talk to me." Yeah. Yeah.
We'll go on. You know, Melissa can be the moderator too.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to all them. I think that you deserve absolutely to have to speak with them too.
I'd like
you
to,
have a
but
lot
I
of
don't
experience with
expect
this. Me, I'm have a like the opposite approach of you, basically. So I just think, again, we can all learn from each other, right? Like, you would be great to talk to them. I would, and yeah, just again, they just said it themselves, right? So come on,
It'd
just
be
talk
great
to us.
to open the doors and be able to talk. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
it's supposed to be there. Where is it? You know, that kind of thing. So I know that I was definitely affected in that way. I mean, I wouldn't even say by my experiences, just because I had some closeness, you could say, to, to those higher states of being. That was very natural. Like there's so many things like that. Like the fact that we can't telepathically communicate seems ridiculous to me. I get like legitimately irritated that I can't move objects with my mind, not because like what I mean by that is like I actually expect that I should be able to. It's not that I have some, I want to be able to move things around with some power. No, it's just that I expect I should be able to do that, and I can't.
I've been trying to do that since I was a kid.
So,
I still do it every once in a while.
Me when the memory returned to me.
You ever work on some of that? Like, that was a huge thing for. I mean, look, I'm not saying I'm proficient in this by any means, but I watched some channels that did do like telekinesis, pyrokinesis, aerokinesis, all that stuff, and I was able to do telekinesis based on their instructions. I mean, it's incredible, but I'm not talking like, in any sort of mass scale. I mean, I'm talking very, very baby stuff, like moving tinfoil or moving like a quarter or a pen, stuff like that. I mean, it's really, really cool shit when you see that you can do it, but it takes a lot of effort. It's a lot of training yourself and all that stuff. I mean, kind of like once you, at least for me, I'm just saying for me, like at least once I proved it to myself that we're capable of that, it opened up another gateway for me, like to reality and what we are and what we're capable of. That's what I cared about. It's like I wanted to be able to prove that, okay, either this is BS or it's true.
Yep.
And I proved it to myself, and every single one of us here can do it. We all can do it. It's just a matter of, do you want to put in the time and the effort to prove it to yourself? It's just, we are capable of these things. I've seen, hands down, no doubt, evidence of individuals who are really, really good at this stuff, and they can move branches back and forth, all sorts of crazy things. There was an experience that I had when I was doing this. I've talked about it a few times on the channel. I'm not going to rant too long, but but I was kind of diving deep into this stuff. And I would always go for a walk on this specific trail, depending on the time of year, but it was in the spring and early spring. And the grass was just starting to come up. And I would always kind of sit at this bench. It was kind of like the halfway point in the trail. It was like I don't know, like a 5-mile walk or something like that. 5-mile hike.
Would you move the wind with your mind?
Well, kind of.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to say it before you said it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the grass was coming up and the leaves were just coming out on the trees. And I was able to move the grass and the leaves on the trees left and right, and I was just flowing with it. It was insane.
I knew it. I wanted to interrupt you before you said that, just because I've experienced this myself before, actually.
Awesome. Tell me about it.
I wish I was chill enough to just like sit there and practice, but I'm like so busy with so much crap. Like I don't know why. Like you would think that's like something I should be doing, right? But
well, I don't. I mean, like I don't know. At least this is kind of the way I look at it. It's like once you kind of prove that you're able to do that, it's like okay. Yep. I mean, you're not gonna be like turn into some fire breathing flying dragon. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be like some. I mean, it's just an inherent thing that we all have, but it's not like some amazing superpower either. It's just that we all have the capability of doing it, and you prove it. But beyond that, I mean, what is it really going to do for you? I mean, like to me, it was like, okay, I proved it. Cool. It was badass. You know, I spent some time on it, and now it's time to move on. I mean, that's kind of how I looked at it. It's like I felt like, you know, I always kind of just kept moving on and trying to learn new things, but there are some incredible practitioners out there, no doubt. I mean, there are some amazing people out there who can do some badass things, but in the end, I kind of look at it as all magnetic. Like we're magnetic beings, and we're kind of like inserting ourselves into our surroundings and weaving in and out and flowing as a creator being to interact with this reality in a way that we have been taught shouldn't exist. So,
exactly.
I don't know.
And that's kind of how I feel personally on a personal level with like doing hallucinogenics, like drugs and things like that. I feel like I don't need to see anymore because I've already got the full gamut. You know, I do kind of get curious sometimes, but just based off, you know, just going off exactly what you're saying, that's how I feel about like doing drugs and things like that. I don't really feel like I need it, just because I got the full gamut already. But yeah, I've seen crazy stuff too myself. I remember seeing a whole group of people practicing Tai Chi in a park one time, and that blew my mind. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. I
have seen a group doing it, but what did you witness?
They were moving the wind
Unison?
North, south, east, and west. Yes, every single time. They were doing this for like 30 minutes straight, and every time they faced a direction, the wind was gusting towards us.
Ah, nice.
And they would face the other way, the wind would go that way. And they did this for like 30 minutes straight. It was like, okay, if it happens 100 times in a row, does that mean it's coincidence, or is it like they're doing something?
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It's like a
and
collective.
A lot of people, all of them were doing every direction they moved, the wind was blowing towards us. I couldn't even believe it. It's very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that practicing that. I mean, again, like even like that. That's why I spent a lot of time with Zen Buddhism. Like all this stuff, like there's a lot to it. I mean, it can really help you in life, but the problem is there's still distractions, but it's all about taking what can work. Yeah, it has.
Everything has been taken over. Like if you even look at yoga used to be a very spiritual thing back in the day. Now it's something else, right?
Totally tainted. Totally tainted. Yeah. Well, I mean, they got to keep that grip on control, and you know, the system knows. Just like it kind of reveals all these minor or major truths along our paths, regardless of whether they're spiritual or kind of system orientated, then all it cares about is keeping you kind of in that box. So as long as we're all falling into those boxes that the system has kind of set up for us, it doesn't care. So the system absolutely knows that individuals like you and I and everyone listening today are going to explore and want to explore and ask big questions and maybe even question the validity of this entire realm. And meanwhile, the system has a whole all-you-can-eat buffet of fuckery lined up, ready and waiting for us to pick from. And it's just hoping that we stay like on the buffet table.
Yep.
To me, for me, in my case, one of the main things I'm here to do is to process a very low vibration, a process of fear. And so in my case, the memory has helped me to, this is hard to articulate, but to experience and come to terms with the gap, the distance between that higher state of being and here. Coming to terms with that and allowing it is no small feat. And I did not realize for the first like 35 years of my life how deeply in fear I was living at every moment. I was resisting the limitation, resisting being human. I've mentioned this example before and it's kind of crass, but it's just one example. I remember peeing one day early in my awakening journey and realizing I was afraid of peeing. And why was I afraid of that? Well, it was very simple. There was a sensation occurring in my body that I couldn't fully control. I mean, I could control whether I was peeing or not, but the sensation of it, like I'm very sensitive. I'm a very sensitive person.
Body.
The sensation of it wasn't within my.
Mm-hmm. Anything you want to add a little to that?
Yeah. He's just, he's just remembering what it was like not to have be in this little flesh capsule. He's lost control. He's lost, majority of his memory. And again, that's why he was very reluctant many times before. So,
and that's why he self-aborted.
Yep. At some point, he accepted it because the memory comforted him. Is what I think he's going to get at right now. So.
I control. And I realized all of the human experience is full of so much sensory experience, so much denseness, so much definition, you could say, like dense definition, consistent, rigorous, like unrelentingly consistent definition. That's one way to describe the physical experience, unrelentingly consistent. And I didn't realize how much I was resisting that in fear. Like allowing the limitation. I was not allowing the limitation. So for me, one of the major impacts for me is now have felt that distance and I seek to fully allow the gap. And in so doing, that is a part of the process of integrating the gap. I like to describe it. It's like straddling the Grand Canyon, like having one toe on the other side and one foot all the way on the other side. And I'm like, this is a really fun, maybe I'm crazy for doing this, but I feel the opportunity and the potential, and it is huge. Like the opportunity and potential of coming to terms with and allowing the fullness and the depth of limitation here in the human experience is profoundly huge. And so being consciously aware of that is one of the main things that my memory helped me, because that's something I can, I don't like the words work on, but something I can engage every day, no matter what the experience, whether I have the stomach flu, which is something I particularly dislike, or whether, I'm just saying that because I remember last time I had the stomach flu, I was like vomiting, laying on the floor, and I was all delirious, and I was fully allowing. And I'm like, this is human. Like, is it okay that I'm totally nauseated? Yeah, it's okay. I'm just saying it's an opportunity. All of the experience. So whether it's that, or whether it's driving a car, whether it's being in business meetings all day, whatever we're experiencing here, there is such an opportunity to allow it, and to fully feel it, and to fully experience it, and to fully integrate it. So I think that's just one thing I would lift up for me that's been very impactful.
That really, really speaks to me and what I've been going through over the past several months, personally.
It's
Thank
like
you.
it sounds simple. It is not. Like it is more difficult than, I don't know, what we might consider very difficult in earthly terms, because it means a quality of engaging and surrender and an allowing of fear in a way that is huge spiritually, even though no one may see it. It's not a surface thing, but that quality, that way that we meet it is so important, and we never talk about it. You know, like we're like, this is just one of these things that's kind of always been dumbfounding to me. We live in a society where I feel like we should be able to live in a place where we can walk up to each other on the street and share this. How are you dealing with the limitations today? How do you feel? What's your experience? What are you actually experiencing right now? That's not usually how we engage one another, but I love that we can share it in this environment together, because this is real. This is the real communication, the real conversation. There are other people who feel this way, even if they can't quite put their finger on it. We're all dealing with this to some extent, and it is man, if we can encourage each other and be there for each other and say, you know what, it's okay that it's messy. It's okay you don't have your arms around it all the way. It's okay that you feel afraid. It's okay that you don't like being sick. It's okay that you reject or have a problem with some circumstance. It's okay. And to honor each other in what we're experiencing and actually be there for each other without judgment.
All right. So that's going to kind of wrap up the last part of our co-commentary together, Harold. Is there any closing thoughts that you kind of have you want to share with everybody?
Right. Not at the very moment. I'm sure when we get off, I'll think of something.
Well, we talked a lot today. I mean, this was a long stream, and I really enjoyed it. And want to thank everyone for coming on. I want to thank you, Harold, for coming on as well. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks again for having me. I totally enjoy this. I learn every single time. So the more I see and watch these guys, I'm like, we got to sit down and talk to them. It's just, why not?
Yeah, well, hey, get the ball rolling, man. Try reaching out. I have Melissa's email, and I know Christian's email is definitely out there on his website. I'm not sure about the. I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but either way, 2 or 3 emails are out there, and I know there's the YouTube channels too, so there are ways to reach out, and you never know, maybe things will change and we can have a discussion. I'm totally open and in whatever format they want to do. So, or even if you just get the opportunity, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Like I said, love to talk to him. And I just feel like we can learn so much from each other. And, we have to be able to listen to opposing views to learn. It's just how it goes. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, my friends. I want to thank you again, Harold, for coming on. Appreciate you, my friend. And we will get together sometime soon. And thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you again. Thanks, chat.
Yes. Okay. So just to wrap things up, just want to let last timer stream members and higher know that we're going to be having a group voice chat after the stream. It'll be starting about a half hour from now. So that would be roughly about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to swing by and join us, and check the members community tab for further information if you're not already in the server. And we'll see each other again soon, and look forward to probably get together next Friday or Saturday, not sure when. And there will be some Truth in Gaming streams related to Cyberpunk 2077 over on Twitch, most likely tomorrow. So stay safe, everybody. Don't work too hard. And thanks for stopping by. And please consider hitting the like button on your way out. It does help spread the word, and also sharing the channel helps as well. So Thank you.